Hi, Statesman Nation. We are sitting down with recent national qualifying men's cross-country runner, Vernon Trozzi, a junior out of Hesperia, California. Wanted to give him an opportunity to get spotlighted a little bit here. Very big deal. He's overcome a lot of stuff we're going to talk about the next couple of minutes here. Just giving him an opportunity to tell his story and how he's gotten to where he is, and being able to be a national qualifier and go out to Washington next week to run at the NAI National Championship. So, anywho, Vernon, congratulations.
Thank you.
Once again. Let's rewind it all the way back. Freshman year, came in healthy, running really well, and then ran into some health issues and kind of just stunted it right there. So let's go back to freshman year, talk about that year and how things were going and everything, and then obviously abrupt season ending, not season ending, but almost season ending.
Right. So freshman year, I came in very strong. I was already expected to be the top runner.
Yeah.
I was being the top runner, and then 3/4 of the way through the season, a month before conference, I was hit with an unexpected health issue that was diagnosed 3 different times.
Right.
It was first kidney stones, and then cancer,
Right.
and then rhabdomyolysis.
Yeah.
So at that point, the doctors told me I was going to die.
Yeah.
So at that point, we ceased all running.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a very stressful time in my life. We were able to figure out what was wrong. It was just a typical marathon runner. Depleted all my essentials pretty much.
Right.
Got about a week of practice in, and then I was able to run conference freshman year, and I placed 28th in conference.
Which all things considered, not that bad.
Yeah. So they had me scheduled for 27th that year, and I placed 28th.
Yeah.
So that wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Not my happiest performance, because I know I could have done better, but
yeah, all things considered, overcoming all of that and being able to do that. So good deal. And then come back sophomore year, obviously expectations even higher, but I guess still talking about freshman year, you had an injury during indoor track season.
Right. So I got off that health issue during cross country and excited for indoor track season, and ran a little too hard, too much on the indoor track, and ended up fracturing my leg. And we thought it healed over summer, just didn't heal.
Right.
It didn't heal correctly, at least in the sophomore year. We realized that, got 2 races into cross country, and I couldn't finish the season.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of unforeseen things to happen there.
Right. So obviously you're going through first year, everything going really well, and then boom, not so good.
Right.
Obviously really, really bad. Sophomore year, just couldn't make up for things that happened freshman year. So unfortunately, 2 pretty disappointing years. So let's get now to where everything started turning. You do a 180. When did that happen? Where you started getting healthy and started being able to train like you wanted to?
Well, so we dip into sophomore year again. Ran really well indoor season.
Yeah.
Then I hit outdoor season, and I pretty much broke my leg at that point.
Okay.
It was almost cleanly all the way through. They still called it a fracture, but it was almost all the way through.
Right.
So I was in the boot once again.
Yeah.
That's when I decided, okay, I've gotta see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw a lot of doctors, racked up $32,000 worth of doctor bills.
Whew.
So that was like where it was the turning point.
Yeah.
Over the summer, I started some rehab and therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Started a new routine with my protein and vitamins and all that stuff, and the therapy really helped. We did a MLS laser therapy up here at chiropractic, Mahaska Chiropractic.
Right.
So that was my turning point, was when I started to actually dig into what the actual problem was.
Right. And then obviously finally get to the point where you're able to now train. To talk about the mileage, I guess you were able to put on this summer.
So this summer, it wasn't really mileage on my feet that I put on. It was more, I put about 400 miles on the bike.
Okay.
And 200 miles on my feet.
Yeah.
So it's a very different type of training.
Yeah.
Most would call that cross training.
Sure.
So when I came into season this year, I was not expecting a whole lot of fitness in the aspect of being able to run.
Yeah.
So, but that was huge. That was a lot of training that I was surprised with no pain.
Yeah.
So
at least you're doing something cardio and obviously building that part up, and then finally being able to put the miles on your feet and everything. All right, then you get to the start of the year, solid numbers, doing okay, and then what finally clicked?
I think the biggest thing is what finally clicked is when Goose was starting to get me into the higher mileage. I was finally like, okay, I can do this.
Okay.
This is what I want to do. This is because I was not very happy. I did come into bringing some mental issues with those health issues along with it, so I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
Yeah.
And when Goose was like, okay, hey, we're instead of 2 miles today, we're gonna hit 5 miles.
Right.
And that's when it clicked. It was like, okay, I'm back in this.
Yeah.
This is the sport I love. This is the sport I want to do. And that's really when I started to grind, is when he put me back into my higher mileage.
Sure. All right, so higher mileage, just so everyone understands what that means. What were you running at the peak?
At the peak of season, I got into 15 miles.
Okay.
That's when I'd be on our long run days. It was our Sundays.
Yeah.
Started running 15 miles and without any pain.
Yeah.
So
running more than a half marathon in one day. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're talking probably overall, is it a 50, 60 mile week?
It was about 75 miles a week.
Okay. All right. Whew. All right. So for anybody that's curious, that's basically going from here to Pella back and forth twice. So long ways. All right. Then let's talk, get to these last couple weeks where you run under 27, and then finally, obviously everything really clicked last Saturday. Let's talk about conference championship and just how that whole race kind of transpired for you.
Well, we'll talk about the first 2 races leading up to that.
Okay.
So I ran a 27:15 my first 5K.
Right.
Because I was sick. I was very sick the first 5K we ran out of season.
Yeah, sure.
So my first 5K I ran the 27:15.
Yeah.
Super proud of myself. Super excited. And then the following one in Augustina, I ran the 26:40.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when I got super excited.
Sure.
And then Cedar Rapids, we hit the conference course.
Yeah.
Just to check it out.
Yeah.
And I ran a 27:12.
Right.
Super flat course. We were all really confused and really tired. So Goose had us take the next meet off.
Yeah.
And that's when things started to click. I said, okay, we've got 3 weeks now till conference.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to really put in some work. The day of conference was probably one of the most nerve-wracking, because me and Goose, the whole 3 weeks, we talked about running the bare minimum to make it to nationals.
Yeah.
Which would be 26:30.
Right.
10-second PR for the season.
Right.
So I just come to nationals. I've got my headphones in. I'm listening to music. I'm doing my thing, warming up, stretching, shaking out. Start to get nervous, and I realized like today's my last chance. If I don't get it today, I don't think I'll ever get it.
Okay.
So we get on the line and kind of nerves, and I didn't notice it till after the race when my dad pointed it out. But off the start, I bit my lip.
Oh, okay.
I put a pretty big gash in on my lip.
Wow.
I was just that nervous and that focused.
Yeah.
Ended up running the 26 flat, and
Yeah.
it was just at that point I knew I was going. A very emotional moment for me.
No, for sure. Okay. Now let's, I guess, we're present day here. Going back to last week, but now obviously preparing for nationals. What's the feeling right now, knowing you're a qualifier, but then also, what are your expectations going into this? I mean, obviously you'd have to run sub 25 into the 24s, whatever you might have to run to win it. Okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about running your best race and doing the best you can. So what are the expectations for you next week?
So for the expectations next week, which have been running through my mind this last whole week, just no matter what I do, it's on my mind.
Yeah.
I just want to run a good race.
Yeah.
I want to prove that I didn't have a fluke and just have just one good race.
Yeah.
So I've been training really hard this last week and thinking like, okay, how am I going to run it? What shoes am I going to wear? How I've been eating. It's just a lot of preparation.
Sure.
So the biggest thing would be my nutrition.
Yeah.
So a lot of proteins I've been eating, a lot of carbs. I like to carbo load for big races like this 2 weeks beforehand.
Okay.
So I eat two to three plates of pasta a night.
Okay.
So it's quite a bit of food that goes into it. It's probably
sure.
the biggest part.
Yeah, definitely.
And then focusing on not getting hurt.
Yeah.
So that's when the trainers come into play.
Yeah.
I'm in there every day, 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
So ice baths, heating, rolling out, manual therapy, you name it, we do it.
Yeah, a lot of precautionary things just to make sure. Obviously, you got to be in your best shape. So
absolutely.
Okay. Since we're since I got you, let's talk a little bit about track, moving forward. After next week, obviously, you got a lot more running this year and in your career. So let's talk about, expectations moving forward. What are you going to be running? Or what are you hoping to accomplish indoor and then outdoor? Obviously, indoor is not going to start right away. I know you guys are running in early December, but more than likely you're going to take that first meet off, I would assume.
Yeah, we'll assume that.
Normally do that. So actually, you're going to start hitting it indoor wise, the second week of January. But what are you hoping to accomplish during track?
Well, so for indoor, I'm looking to make that one nationals as well.
Okay.
I'm looking to run faster than 9 minutes for a 3K.
Okay.
And for my mile, I want to at least break 4:30 this year. Those are my goals for indoor.
Right.
Outdoors is a little bit different story. There's better competition.
Yep.
It's a lot faster. I'm just looking to at least, I want to break a school record for outdoor track this year.
Okay.
So
any individual event you're looking at?
5K.
5K. Okay.
I'm looking to
I
break.
was gonna say the steeplechase is always the fun one, but not sure where you sit on the 3K steeplechase. But yeah, no, awesome. Okay. Well, like I said, I had you. I wanted to ask you about track as well, but. Anywho, best of luck next week, Vancouver, Washington. Vernon will be running against the best in the NAIA, and hope for the best in a really low time, and just come back very proud. So
I appreciate
all right,
it.
thanks so much. Once
Thank
again, junior men's cross country runner Vernon Trozzi out of Hesperia, California. Again, national qualifier here for William Penn. All right, good luck, bud.
Thank you.